the problem for Trump is manifested or magnified, and that even in his own camp, he has lots of problems. Now, we know for sure that there are a number of people, at least in his inner circle, who say, yes, we need to just end this. We need to get out of this deal. There's no victory for us to have here. They started going on a path for a while that this is Biden's war. It's not mine. I didn't start it. I wanted to get out of it. He was doing that a lot. They said, we're days away from walking if we can't get a deal. And then all of a sudden that went away. It seems that inside there must be a battle going on for his influence within his inner circle, and is on current display. Last night in the Wall Street Journal, letter to the editor was published by Senator Lindsey Graham, who said, "I have coordinated with the White House." And that's one of your clues right there on the Russia sanction bill since its inception. The bill would put Russia on trade island, slapping a 500% tariffs on any country that buys Moscow's energy products. The consequences of its barbaric invasion must be made real to those that prop it up. If China or India stopped buying cheap oil, Mr. Putin's war machine would grind to a halt. The sanction bill has 82 co-sponsors. As Senator Thune said last week, if Mr. Putin continues to play games, the Senate will act. I'm hoping for the best, but when it comes to the thug in Moscow, we should all prepare for more of the same. Listen, that's not a minor issue right there. When you're talking about a 500% tariff, and you're going to try to throw it on the likes of China, okay, we've already still in a trade war with them. There's still 30% tariffs that are active as we speak. We're trying to figure some other stuff out, but now then you're wanting to throw potentially India under the bus as well. Now, come on. We have, since this war started because of the malpractice of the Biden administration, we did everything necessary to shove China, Russia, Iran, and North Korea into an active engagement, whether it's in some cases an outright security arrangement, an actual treaty. Okay, they weren't before, but now we put them in a box here. Now then, you want to take India, who we've been courting a lot, for a number of reasons, economic and also geopolitical, because we want to have some kind of distance between India and China. They have their own issues there. You want to do something like this, it's going to put India and China together? I mean, we got to think beyond the end of our nose. Number one, the issues have utterly failed. And the fact that the U.S. Senate leading voices continue to put forth prospects of policies that have been an utter and complete disaster. Not just did it fail to cripple the Russian economy, it's also failed to protect our own side. And all these boomerang results of the sanctions have harmed Europe much more than it harmed Russia. I mean, it's just a matter of accounting. You can look at the numbers. It's self-evident that it has not worked. So why then do we want to go down this path? Why then, when Biden came in, and bear this in mind for what's about to follow, when Biden came in and said we were going to have crippling sanctions on Russia at the beginning of this war, we're going to bring their economy to its knees, we're going to have price caps on energy, all kinds of stuff to deprive it of oil. That's what we tried in the first, and it obviously didn't work at all. So now then that's what Senator Graham wrote last night. Now one of his colleagues last night on Sean Hannity went on, Senator Mullen from Oklahoma, seems to have forgotten all the failures of the Biden side.
I think they need to take off the handcuffs of Zelensky and let him unleash hell inside of Russia, funded not by the U.S., but by Europe.
Sean, you're absolutely correct. The president has been very patient with Putin. And I get it. The reason why he did. I mean, we saw how much patience Reagan had with Gorbachev. At the same time, he's trying to clean up a mess that he didn't start, right? I mean, this war would have never taken place if Trump would have been in office. But now it is. He's been very clear, Sean, from day one. He wanted the killing to stop. He's tried to work with Putin. His patience is running thin. And you and I know President Trump personally. When he's done with you, he's done. Lindsey Graham, myself, and a few other senators led this sanction bill. We have been holding off because President Trump wanted time to negotiate with Russia. Because the negotiations are breaking down, I can see as soon as we're ready to move this bill forward, we'll be able to pass this in the Senate, we'll be able to pass it on the House, and then President Trump will sign it. The sanctions will cripple Russia's economy.
Oh, gracious. I mean, why does he even have to use that same phrase? These sanctions, as despite the other 17 rounds between the United States and Europe, this one is going to cripple their sanctions when everything that we've done before didn't. This one will, even though Russia has been working very hard to sanction-proof its economy. There was Putin had some meetings with many of his economic leaders in his country, business leaders, etc., to try and basically make them even less susceptible to these kinds of things, and then in advancing their markets in other directions, in places that are friendly to Moscow, that are immune to pressures from the United States, etc. You keep pushing Russia and other people in directions that are antithetical to our own interest long term, not just in the situation right here. And you see the arrogance behind what he was saying there. I mean, he's putting this in terms, it's like it's an adult or a parent at a little recalcitrant teenager, a little high school sophomore or something. He's just misbehaving, and he's trying to be patient. Trump is trying to be patient with these people. He's trying to work a deal, but if he doesn't, we're going to take them out to the woodshed. We're going to put a little discipline on them. That's just absurd, because what's been tried, number one, but number two, we don't have that kind of leverage. And when you see something has not worked for now going into its fourth year, or actually going deep into its fourth year now, what rationale would lead you to want to say, let's double down on that when it's harmed our side already? But yet that's where we are. So part of this frustration with Trump is self-inflicted. And you see this dynamic of this pressure going on inside by what Trump is doing on the outside. All these people on the inside of his circle. Some people had, and I obviously am one of these, that said that if he had listened to these group over here that said walk, if he had listened to what, or if he had acted rather on what Secretary Rubio said on the 18th of April, we're days away from walking if we can't get the sides together. Well, obviously they have expanded apart even further. So that would seem to have triggered that commitment to walk then. Had he done that, then he would be in much better shape now, because then genuinely he wouldn't own it, because it's not, I tried to bring you guys together. He could have justly said that and then walked in. Now then, with the United States out of the picture here, now you put all the onus on Europe to either put up or shut up. And you see right now, they don't want to have to put up or shut up. They want to keep Trump, and they're trying to pull him into their circle as well, so that they stay united on the West side, which is not leading to peace. That's one of the other things that Lavrov said, which I think there's justification, that the Western side doesn't want peace. They don't want an end to this war. It's pretty clear the Western side doesn't. And if you need any proof of that, just look at what German Chancellor Friedrich Merz said here recently, when he said on German television that this means that the Ukraine can now defend itself, including strikes on military targets in Russia. Until recently, it could not do this, and until recently, with very few exceptions, it did not do so. Now it can. It can hit military targets in the rear, and this is a decisive qualitative change in Ukraine's warfare, the German chancellor said, and specifically lifting long-range fires. And I mean, let's just first of all just look at the reality and the tactical implications of this, the strategic implications. Number one, Russia has an extremely robust air defense system, both the ability to shoot down missiles as well as electronic warfare capacity to knock them off course, etc. Some things get through. There was another big over 100 drone attack from Ukraine against Moscow overnight. Some of them got through, or some of the air defense missiles got shot down and actually hit some buildings in Moscow. So there is some success on that. They did, in fact, get some of those through this time. But the robustness of the Russian air defense missiles, and you've seen in recent waves, all of them got knocked down. There's sometimes where none of them get through at all, or they get intercepted far enough out that they don't fall on buildings, they fall in the open area, etc. So that tells you that Russia is very strong in its ability to knock these things out. So even if all of the Taurus missiles from Germany, all of the ATACMS from the United States, all of the Storm Shadows from UK, the Scalps from France, even if you put all those together, it's a relatively small number. You can't launch a campaign with it. And to have any, and I mean any kind of impact on the front lines that's going to help the Ukraine military to defend itself, you have to have a long, robust and sustained campaign of long-term missiles. Now, that for the moment doesn't even suggest what the Russian side may do in retaliation for the direct engagement of all these four Western countries. We'll talk about that in a second. But just in terms of what it can do, what's even possible militarily, it's not going to accomplish anything because you have so few missiles. You don't have enough to have a sustained campaign, and the Russians do have the capacity to shoot them down or knock them off course. So it's not going to have any impact at all. Therefore, you have to ask, well, then what is the reason? What I'm saying, that can't be information and news to these guys. They have to know that. They have generals that are in charge of all this stuff, and they're in classified environments. There can't be any doubt that they're being told this is not going to accomplish anything. Most of these will, hardly any of them will actually get through. And because Russia is such a vast country, those that do, it's going to be pinpricks here, that Russia has diversified their capacities throughout the country. They don't have single points of failure anywhere. They've certainly learned from history.